guys, just wanted to show you what these squash borer eggs look like. If you see the little red dot, and they're a little more noticeable with a flashlight at night, but this little red dot that you're seeing right here is a squash borer egg. If you come out at night with a flashlight, it shines in the light. It kind of reflects the light a little bit, and it appears as a little red dot, like a little bullseye on the green stem. So it's a lot easier, I think, to see them at night. But I found this one last night, and just thought I'd come out with a better camera because they're so teeny tiny, and show you guys what they look like. So if you can see right here, my hand, this is the top of the leaf. Go all the way down the stem here. That is just the teeniest, tiniest little squash borer egg right here. And I'm going to break this off. I'm actually doing a little trimming today. Trimming up the bottom of the leaves so we can do some vertical squash growing. The space is so small on the top of my compost bin. If I just let these grow, they would definitely take over, and all the things that I have planted underneath the squash would probably die out from lack of sunlight. So what we're going to do is trellis them up these lines, and then as they grow vertically, we can trim off the leaves, and the things that are underneath, like the eggplants that I have here, are going to grow a whole lot better because they're going to be getting more sunlight. And we can do this and know that the plants are still going to be healthy because the bottom leaves aren't the ones that contribute to the most growth. A very small percentage of the plant's growth is dedicated to the cells created and the energy created in the lower leaves. Most of your energy that you're going to get in terms of cell creation and new growth creation is going to be from the small floral areas in the center on the very top of the plant where new growth comes out. These guys look pretty good. Normally, if this was out in the yard, I would probably leave this one. But I think I'm going to go ahead and... Alright, so here's the trick. This leaf has yellowing on it. But these look like where it may be slapped up against something. There aren't yellowing spots like this, for instance, would be a leaf I would definitely take off. It's already injured. It's already got yellowing around the edges. And this isn't yellowing from slapping against stuff. This is probably, like for instance, this leaf, it's not pulling any more nutrition from the leaf. So this is actually just necrosis forming. This is all dead tissue. So we want to get this leaf off because it's not helping this plant at all. It's actually hurting its ability because this plant is most likely trying to bring this leaf back to life, or it's supplying it with moisture that it could be using in these leaves. Because every big leaf like this you have, the plant is going to sweat. It transpires. So it actually, in terms of plant life, it's a form of sweating. All right, guys. Now we're going to trim this one and start at the bottom, just like we did the other ones, just to kind of get a little space to see some things. This big one can go, and a couple of these. Again, this is vertical growing, so we wouldn't be cutting all this if we were growing them out in the yard. In general, you do want to cut any of the leaves that aren't healthy, like this one, for instance, with a lot of damage. Looks like windblown damage, but not a lot else going on. There seems to be a little bit, maybe some chlorosis going on, definitely around the edges here. But nothing too serious. I mean, some of these can get pretty tattered as they blow in the wind. We get some pretty strong winds here in Wilmington, North Carolina. There was some 30-40 mile an hour gusts coming through not too long ago, just about a week or two ago. So, but just cutting off these bottom leaves right here, guys, making a little light, making a little room for light to come in. For the rest of this stuff down here, this is some Egyptian spinach I really would like to get going here. And I've got it around the yard, but this is one of the healthier plants we've got coming up right now. So definitely taking care of the ones that are healthy. Take care of them, they'll take care of me later, right? But just cutting off some of the bottom leaves. We want a lot more of that energy to go into the top growth instead of maintaining old growth. So this is a good way of doing that. And while I'm doing it, I'm checking around for those little eggs. Oh, I got one right here. I got one right here. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Here we go. So what we're going to do is just take it right in our fingernail. You can get it off on your fingernail. And then roll your fingernail over that. And you should feel it pop. And if it pops, that means that the little caterpillar was still in there and you're getting rid of the caterpillar. It did not get out, it did not get loose, and you should not see holes in your fruit. Otherwise, if it doesn't and the caterpillar's already emerged at that point, you can look around and might see a couple little holes in some of your fruit that you have. But I don't see any little holes anywhere in any of my, these are zucchini, but I don't see any more eggs. But we got to make sure we check them, guys, if you've got squash borer problems around you, because they get everywhere. And the funny thing is, this is a cushaw, a green striped cushaw squash, okay? And it's supposed to be borer resistant. And I found 2 eggs on this one yesterday, side by side. So I was really excited about this, and I think it might be my fault, because I think that the squash borer resistance is less hormones, because the plant puts out less hormones than the rest of the squash species. I think in terms of having the squash borer resistance, putting them all together wasn't the best idea. But we're going to see how it goes this year. Very exciting. So I'm going to do a little more trimming on these guys, and let's see, we want to make all the energy come out of the front here, focus on the center, the new leaves, the new growth. So to do that, we need to cut off the bottom, the bigger leaves that transpire too much. So, and if you guys don't know what transpiration is, it's a plant's way of sweating. So it draws up moisture and it perspires, it sweats, it transpires, it evaporates the water out of the top here, vaporizes the water, and it just it disperses it as a gas. But the purpose of this is so that in the summertime, when it's super hot, the plant can actually cool its leaves by drawing up water and transpiring. So that cycle of water coming up, it acts as a cooling system for the plant. So it is important to keep bigger leaves in the summertime and when it's really hot. But this time of year, this is just the end of April, so we're just moving forward in terms of it was cold just a few weeks ago at night, and now it's starting to warm up at night as well. So I'm just going to cut these big leaves off, guys, so they don't, so these plants don't put all the energy into all the water, all the moisture into transpiration, and all the energy into maintaining old growth. We want to put all the energy into the new growth at this stage of the plant's life. So that looks about good. That's usually about what I would leave. And then we're doing vertical growing, so this is a great opportunity to continue the string around some of these stems, just so it grows straight up. And this is a male flower. See, it doesn't have the fruit on it like this one does. This is a female flower. So if we had other squash like this one over here, I'm going to take this, the male flower from one type of squash plant, and I can go right over here with this. I believe the way this works is this is the male plant is the stamen and the female plant is the pistil. So the stamen, it would be what I have in my hand, and we can take this and rub the pistil of the female flower just like that, and that is pollinating, hand pollinating, just like insects do. And the particle size is real small, and you only need the size of a particle, a pollen particle that fits on the back of an insect. So really just a teeny tiny amount. I've probably way done it already. Real quick, guys, I wanted to show you how I've got some of the squash plants I'm growing. This is a compost bin. So what I did was put holes in the cardboard on the side at the bottom, and I put the squash plants, these are melons, so this is actually a muskmelon, so that's a cantaloupe, and I think this is another yellow squash, but I just kind of put seeds because I was testing this to see if it would work. But what's going to happen is, as everything decomposes, all the enzymes from the vegetation inside the heat are going to slowly go down. And as they do, they're going to be keeping this area moist of the compost bin on the bottom. So I haven't watered this at all since I started it, and it's been going for, I'd say, about 3 weeks or so, maybe 3-4 weeks. But these are the healthiest plants that I've got, and I haven't watered it one time. And it's just basically sticking seeds in cardboard through the bottom of a compost pile. So just to give you guys an idea, I'm going to trim these like I did the other ones. They don't really need it though, as much. See, I'm curious how this is going to work. Oh no, just moving that, just like that, what you just saw, I just broke the stem off. That's sad. I'm gonna cut some of these branches off though and leave it, and I'm hoping maybe it'll grow. I might put a little parafilm on it to help it, but man, that's sad. So right here, you see it just right when I just took this leaf and just picked it up just like that, and just that little motion just cracked the stem right here. That's sad. But like I said, maybe it'll grow back if I put a little parafilm on it. Try to graft it. Nah, I don't think that's going to. Well, let's see. All we got to do is make the tissue go back together. So there we go. Craftiness. So I'm just going to poke this through. There we go. And that should hold the plant up and keep the tissue together so that it can fuse back together. Now, once I remove this stick and it drops again, there's no telling, it'll probably just crack. But, I mean, you know, that's sad. But I got a lot more, so moving on. So let's go ahead and trim one or two of these and try not to break it. My goodness gracious. There we go. There's another one. I didn't even know this one was here. That's cool. Well, there we go. We lost one, but we got another one. And it's not lost just yet. It still might come back. There's still hope. You guys cross your fingers for me. All right, now this is all compost. Going in the compost bin. I'm actually going to use this for the worms, I think. It's good worm food. And this is our squash tent. We made this so that we could put the squash in it and the squash borers wouldn't be able to get to the plants. So the problem is it's right underneath a pine tree, so the pine cones dropped. So we had to put some lattice work on top to keep the pine cones from putting a hole through it. This was the only spot we really had to put this. Unfortunately, it's not the best for light. It doesn't really have enough sunlight to sustain the plants this time of year, but I'm hoping we've got some in some pots, and I'm going to be putting them in here in a couple weeks when it warms up a little bit and it gets a little bit brighter. So, but we've still got some in here. You can see, if I can get, I've got that side weighted down with a brick or two. So, but right here, there are some squash growing in here. But I planted a lot of beans trying to interplant and trying to keep the the production up on the soil, and it kind of backfired on me because it got too thick and it blocked a lot of the lights. You can see there's a squash right down here, and it's even got a bloom on it. That's funny. But you can see how small it is. That plant should be about 3 times that size like the other ones now, and it's not doing so good. And I think it's light. It's because of the light, the amount of light it's getting. But you know, we plan things and we learn. Not everything works out 100%, but as long as we learn and we grow from it, you know, it's a success. So I think this is a success right now. I mean, I would like to see more squash, but you know, I think this is going to work out in the long run once I get all the vegetation down, get these lettuce out, and get the bigger squash plants in here after the light gets a little bit more intense. Oh, and if you guys are going to do this, the back is actually the best. You want to overlap the fabric. This way I had it so that this front piece just pulls up, and that was a problem that is a problem because when the wind blows, this whole side comes up. Whereas in the back, I just overlapped it. So, like, I just made it so that you can go in through one side. So I just overlapped the fabric, and this is way better because all you need to do is put one brick right here, or one piece of wood, or I mean just anything, just that, you know, and then it holds this shut so that the bugs won't get in. But the other side, that was not the best way of doing it. So just so you guys know better than I do and learn from my experience, and that's what this is all about, putting these videos online, is to live life vicariously through other people and learn from their mistakes, so you don't have to make the same ones. You can bypass that and get to the finish line so much faster. So please take my experience and learn from it. And if you guys have better ways of doing this, if you know other ways of preventing squash borers from getting to your plants, please let me know. But so far, I don't want to spray anything. Neem doesn't really work that great on squash borers, and BT spray, you have to apply it so often, it really makes squash not worth it. Because there's so many other things that we could be growing, guys. Why will we grow something that nature has said, this is a buffet in this area? So if you grow this, all the bugs will come to your yard. You have the correct milkshake for that bug. So what we need to do is basically just shift our gears and say, where can I put my energy to be the most useful and get the most results out of the amount of energy we're putting in? And I think that is the trick. All right, guys, this is Tom, Permaculture Wilmington. Hope you're having a great day.